At Direct Service Garage Doors, we are your one-stop shop for all things garage door. From garage door repair and broken spring replacement to new garage doors and openers, we do it all. We're proud to be among the highest-rated local garage door companies in all of Central Arkansas. Our highly trained technicians are available 24 hours a day at no extra cost to you. So if you have an emergency, call us today, 501-244-3667, or visit our website at directserviceoverhead.com. Don't wait days. We'll fix it now.
Oh, it is Monday. Monday. I'm back from my week-long trip. Feels good. Feels great. Thank you guys so much for being here. Patreon supporters, I appreciate you. Let's get this thing going. Huh? Let's do it. 3, 2, 1. Oh, I hope you're ready for this. For the haircut. Oh, there it is. Oh, the locks have been contained on my scalp. All right. So damn much has happened. Holy crap, so much has happened. First off, shout out to Direct Service Overhead Garage Door Company, the show's sponsor. One of the two sponsors. Appreciate them. This show doesn't exist without them. They offer, I mean, you guys know, but for those of you who don't know, they offer same-day services, emergency service 24/7, 365, 247, 365 days a year, free estimates, quality parts, affordable outcomes, hundreds of 5-star reviews, better than best results. Give them a call today, 501-244-3667. And, of course, Apex Tattoo Studio, 615 West Oak Street, Rogers, Arkansas, 72756. For those of you who are watching or who are fans of this show, you need to go be fans of Apex Tattoo Studio because these guys do quality work. Give them a call. Get set up with your ink. 479-278-2694. 479-278-2694. We got some new ink on there as well. If you look at the very last picture, that is the newest addition to the ink page. Hoping to add some more. I really hope someone out of our Discord in the near future does this as well. I would love to see a picture and then to be able to post it in there would be really cool. Or any viewer for that matter, but obviously you'd have to be in our Discord to do that. So yeah, go hop onto our Discord. Go join. So, oh my God, where do we even begin? Thoughts and prayers with the Pirate, Mike Leach, hospitalized. A lot of false reports. As far as we know, he's still in the hospital. I really don't know what to say beyond that. I really hope the guy pulls through because, first off, while I believe the air raid existed before Mike Leach, what the guy did with it, it changed the landscape of college football on the offensive end of the ball. It changed the landscape of how it changed a lot. It changed how defenses play defense. It changed how – I think it even had an impact on officiating. I think air raid probably opened up some of that, you know, when you go from – I mean, really, before the air raid, before Mike Leach, and he started off in his career and when he was an OC – How many teams were throwing the ball 50 times a game, 45, 50 times a game? It changed the landscape. The guy's impact is huge. I can't think of the air raid. When you think air raid, you think Mike Leach. Now, did they run the air raid purely the last couple of years, especially this year? No. They ran the ball more because what was the thing that we always say in the SEC? You can't throw the ball 45, 50 times a game and expect to win at a high level consistently. And Mike Leach figured that out, and he said, you know what, we're going to run the ball a little more. There had been some rumors that, and I don't like speculating on this sort of stuff, but someone had said he looked ill and seemed off all year long. Now, that was from some Mississippi State people, no one official. There had been talks about his health. Again, that's all smoke. Don't know that any of that's true. All that matters is we're thinking of Mike Leach, his family, his friends, Mississippi State. Like, that sucks. What this means for Mississippi State, we don't know from here on out. But right now what matters is that he comes out of this okay. So I know we've all been impacted. Somebody we know is, and again, that's what's being reported, is that he suffered a massive heart attack. Again, don't know that. That's not been verified that I know of yet. But it's just something to I don't know, man. Just enjoy life. That's all I got to say. What up, Ty? What's going on, Scott? How you doing? Ty looking fresh. I am. Thank you. I appreciate that, Anthony. I have a go-to lady. I've had to stop going to the guy over on Emma because he's always booked up over on Emma Street down here past the Apollo. For those of you who are familiar with Emma Street, Odd Soul is right there. Shout out to Odd Soul. I think they've got some folks that watch this show. Shout out to them. But they're right down the road from them, and he's just always booked up. He's just always busy. So I went to place in Fayetteville down off of Joyce. What's it called? Right there next to Old Navy. Not Sports Clips, but the other place. I don't know. I go there. There's one chick I like that cuts my hair, and she does it the way I like. So shout out to her. I forget her name. This is about to be a 1 hour, 30-minute show. So much to catch up on. While I was gone, I mean, Barry Odom exits as I'll be honest, I didn't think he would. I didn't think it was going to happen. It happened. I don't know. Some people are bummed out by it. A lot of people seem to be like, you know what? It's time. The defense was kind of a joke. We never really saw Barry Odom's defense. It never lived up to the hype. Is that fair to say? And no, I'm not farting. That's just the chair. You can't move without this chair making noises. It never lived up to the hype. I mean, that's all we heard about was, oh, here we go, Barry Odom's defense. And it certainly looked like the first couple of years it was going to. It certainly looked like, or at least the first half of the season, it was like, if only they could just put together a full year. And this was supposed to be it, right? Drew Sanders transfers in. You got Dwight McLaughlin, Latavius Brenny, Bishop, who I think, he was a starting corner from a year ago. You had him back. Jalen Catalon. Some of those guys just didn't cut it. Some of them couldn't stay healthy, and that was, of course, Jalen Catalon's issue. Jalen Catalon just cannot stay healthy. What up, broski? Way less homeless today, sir. There he goes again. Go Hogs for life, commenting on my hair. Appreciate it, sir. Probably took the jabberoo. Oh, we're not going to get into that. It's the salt water. What are you talking about? What's the salt water? What do you mean? John was ecstatic that Odom left. Underperforming, says Anthony White. I mean, yeah, I think the defense never really lived up to the hype, man. They never got it figured out on the offense or on the defensive end of the ball. It just never came together. And it was like, yeah, okay, they got to the quarterback a lot better this year. You felt like that would sum up a lot of their issues. And it didn't. They were worse. Statistically speaking, they were worse this year somehow. How did that happen? They went backwards. Red zone defense was atrocious. It was so bad. How do you go backwards as much as they did? The secondary, you're here 3 years? You're here 3 damn years, and that's the product on the field in the secondary? What are we doing? What is this? Well, they lost Gregory Brooks. Joseph Fouché, Slusher was on and off, and Jalen Catalon tied. That was the issue. Okay, fair enough. Simeon Blair is like a 14th year senior who, let's just call it like it is. And I know we're not supposed to call out individual players, but let's not sit here and act like Simeon Blair was sniffing anywhere near an all-conference caliber player, and oftentimes he got exposed. You had Hudson over at corner, and it just never made sense. And all of a sudden, the secondary starts playing a little bit better. Why? Well, they move Quincy McAdoo over to corner. They move Hudson Clark over to middle safety. Dwight McLaughlin now isn't the only player on the field that could at least be considered an issue to deal with when you're talking about from an offensive standpoint. Now you got, okay, now this works. It's like a game of Tetris. You got the the pieces coming in, right? Who didn't play Tetris? Anyone who's pushing 40 like I am, we all played Tetris, either on Game Boy, arcade, whatever. It's like, and it makes that line disappear. Like, what are we doing? Why did it take all year to get this thing figured out, or at least the final 3 or 4 games? Is it an evaluation issue? Why was the defense as bad as it was? You have an All-American, by the way, Drew Sanders. Congratulations to him. Drew Sanders is an All-American. When's the last time you had an All-American at linebacker? It's got to be since the 80s. Who was the last first-team All-American linebacker? Was it Caleb Miller one year, wasn't Caleb Miller no, Caleb Miller was like second-team All-SEC, I think. You had Petty. Sam Aljabutu was really good. Of course, you could talk about Spate. God, Scooter Harris. Freddie Fairchild was a freshman All-American. Oh, boy, what could have been? 1964? No. Are you serious, dude? That's the last time? 1964? Oh, my God. That's horrible. That's bad. Razorback Twitter said it. Said what about the 1964? That's horrible. How's it feel to be an All-American? I gotta pee. I had about 15 Dr. Peppers. That's a great quote. / give Rhett 50,000 XP. Josh Farmer says he's back. Hell yeah. Yeah, welcome. Make sure you guys like come on. 13 likes. What are we doing, fellas? And I'm sure we've got a couple ladies in the audience. Come on now. Let's slap the like button around. Let's give it a John Ridgway German suplex. How's it feel to be an All-American? I believe he said he's got to go pee. That movie was ahead of its time. When he's moved, you look at his mouth now and you can tell there's something weird when JFK. For anyone who doesn't know, that's Forrest Gump. Now you can kind of see it if you look at the mouth, but back then, 1994, you were blown away by that. Did that really happen? What the hell? Ma'am, you dropped your books. Remember that scene? That looked real. In 1994. Seemed like some on defense, especially against Missouri, loafed. And no team member captain would put their foot in their backsides. Mark, you might have a good point there. No leaders on defense. 1964, bro. What are we doing? All right. Thoughts and prayers with Mike Leach. If you haven't heard, I know we're on football right now, but we have to talk about really quick what the hell is going on with Chris Beard. What happened? I had this show more or less. I had it all put together, mostly. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've had some major my stomach. I drank so many sweet rum drinks on that boat. It has had an impact on me since I've been back on land in the greatest country on earth, which is America. My stomach has just been not great. I'll just say that. I'll leave it at that. But I've mostly the thumbnail. I didn't know what to do with the thumbnail. I was gonna put a pirate flag with Mike Leach and I thought, well, okay, no. And then I thought about Loggains. By the way, rumors he's going to SC. That's been around for a couple of days. That was my initial thumbnail for this, and I was like, well, crap. I had to slap Mike Leach on there. I had to slap Beard. I don't know what's going on with college athletics this weekend, but it's been insane. For Arkansas, going back to last week, Razorback basketball dropped down to 10th in AP. Explain that to me. You beat two teams. You go 2-0. You beat Oklahoma, a Power 5 team in a neutral court, and you go back a spot. I don't know. Mississippi State 247 board just said Leach was put on comfort care. I don't know what that is, but you're saying it's basically hospice. Oh, man, I hope that's not true. Man, I hope that is not true. College football will not be the same without that cat. Trevon Brazil, tore his ACL, right? We got that word. I think we got word on that last Sunday. I think that's when we found out. Yeah, I think we were traveling down to Galveston. And crazy. Isn't that like life support? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't like commenting on things. I really don't. I don't know. I hope it's not true. I don't like to speculate. I try not to. The situation with Chris Beard, let's cover this really fast. This is insane. I have a feeling maybe some of it's an overreaction, but we don't know. That's just a feeling. Maybe there's some real issues here. Let's see. This is from the Horns 247 board. Texas basketball coach Chris Beard was in the Travis County Jail Monday morning after being charged with a third-degree felony. By the way, pretty sure that carries like a 8 to 10 year sentence. That's kind of hard to believe that anybody would just like, oh, well, there's nothing to this, but he was charged with third-degree felony assault. Yeah, that's a felony. I think that's pretty much like a minimum of 8 to 10 years. But an 8 to 10 year, or excuse me, I'm reading wrong notes here. Pull that back up. Being charged with third-degree felony assault on a family member, according to the Travis County Jail spokeswoman. The spokeswoman said Beard was booked into Travis County Jail at 4:18 Monday morning, today, like not long ago, today, on a charge assault on a family/household member by impeding breath circulation, choking. He was choking someone. The spokeswoman said the arrest was made by the Austin Police Department. An APD spokeswoman told Horns 247 that police were called. I'm not going to talk about the address. I wish they hadn't even printed that, to be honest. I don't know why they do that. I don't know why they do that. I know it's like common knowledge where like Pittman lives. I get that, but I'm never gonna give out an address. That's ridiculous. You should take that down. Beard's attorney, Perry Minton of Austin, told the Austin American Statesman, Coach Beard is 100% innocent of these charges. He should have never been arrested. The complainant wants him released immediately. And all charges dismissed. And he goes on to say, it is truly inconceivable. The Travis County Jail spokeswoman said Beard would likely have a bond hearing sometime Monday when his bail would be set on the charge. A third-degree felony carries a punishment. Okay, here it is. I didn't read this part. A third-degree felony carries a punishment range of 2 to 10 years in prison with fines up to $10,000 upon conviction. That's weird. You can have a 10-year sentence with a $10,000 with a fine of $10,000 upon conviction. The university is aware of the situation regarding Chris Beard. We are continuing to gather information and monitoring the legal process, the school said in a statement. Listed under the grounds for suspension or termination by the university for cause in Beard's Texas contract is a provision that reads, any conduct that the university administration reasonably determines is clearly unbecoming to a head coach and reflects poorly on the university, the program, or the University of Texas system, or B, resulting in a criminal charge being brought against the head coach involving a felony or any crime involving theft, dishonesty. That's interesting. A lot of gray area with that, isn't there? Or moral turpitude. Turpitude. I don't know what that. I don't know, guys. I don't pretend to be smart. There's words being used in this I've never read out loud. The Texas Longhorn basketball team, which is 7-1, is ranked number 2 in the country heading into this week, is scheduled to play Rice at the Moody Center Monday night. Associate head coach Rodney Terry, who has 10 seasons of head coaching experience at UTEP and Fresno State, would seem the most likely member of Beard's staff to take over. Wow. A lot there. There's so much going on, man. This is just insane. Where's John? Need Art the Source to help tie out with the big words. That's right. It's also, it feels early in the morning to me still. I haven't had my cup of coffee, and it's like 12:30. I feel like I just woke up, but I've been up since like 7. Ron Holland is currently committed to Texas. I know a lot of people talking about Ron Holland. Is there a possibility that Ron Holland might rethink some things? Listen, we got to let this play out. You have to let this play out. We don't know what's true. We don't know how long this process is going to take. We don't know what's going to happen with Beard. For all we know, who knows? This could be nothing. It sure doesn't sound like nothing. We don't know what we don't know. Turpitude is like evil, wicked, immoral. There we go. All right. I've never heard that word. I've never read that word in my life. Bad look regardless what happens, says Anthony White. Man, you're not wrong about that. It just looks really bad. Third is the least. Okay, it's 2 to 10. All right. Hawes has a dictionary. He's the thesaurus, is what he is. So, how big this is, how big this could be with Chris Beard, man, it's up in the air. It really is at this moment. We're just gonna have to let it play out. I'm not gonna cheer for any of this. Nobody should. I hope he didn't strangle someone. Sure sounds like that's what happened. I don't know how that works either when you're talking about with it being a felony and everything. How long does UT wait this out? A lot of questions with this. But this is going to be the hot button topic. Between this and Mike Leach's health, obviously, are going to be the two big ones. But unreal. Just crazy. Crazy week, man. Sad and then just crazy. All right, let's move on back to Razorback sports. Huh? How about Arkansas killing it in the damn portal? Can we talk about that for just a second? I told you guys last time we talked, watch out, Jacoby Criswell and Joshua Braun, and guess what? They committed to Arkansas. How about that? Andrew Armstrong, he too committed to Arkansas, the 6'3", 180 pounds, according to 247, 6'3", 180 pound wide receiver. He's committed to Arkansas. He's out of Texas A&M Commonwealth. Was that what it was? Is that where he was at? Commonwealth. We covered it. His some say he could be that. I think some folks think he's going to be the Jaden Hazelwood replacement. I have a hard time. I don't know. I shouldn't say I have a hard time seeing that, but Jaden Hazelwood, who's a former 5-star wide receiver, highly regarded wide receiver out of high school, goes on to Oklahoma, Power 5 school, has a pretty okay career there, but then he comes to Arkansas and really tears it up. Kind of wonder if he shouldn't have had a few more touchdowns added to his stat list, but who knows, man? It's so hard to gauge. Commerce, Texas A&M Commerce, that's what it is. Commerce Lions, that's where he's from. Played at Bishop Dune High School in Dallas, Texas. It's hard to gauge. It's hard to gauge how well players just do coming out of the portal, but it should be easier when you're comparing it to high school, because high school you never know if their high school game is going to translate well to the college level, right? That's a big gap. Whereas you're talking about college to college, someone like Jaden Hazelwood, right, or Matt Landers, you had film from either Georgia or Oklahoma. You have film, and they played against that level, that age group of athlete, right? It's easier to gauge, and yet at the same time, there's still that question of, will what they did at a previous school translate in this offense or this system on defense, whatever, this system on offense? How well will they mesh with the rest of the roster, with the depth chart, the coaching staff? So many variables. And then when it actually happened, you look at Matt Landers and Hazelwood, I would say it worked out. Drew Sanders, definitely. I would argue that's probably one of the most successful defensive transfers since the portal started. This cat was a first-team All-American, and apparently the first one the Razorbacks have had since 1904. 1964. I'm being dramatic. Bear with me. Arkansas's done a good job in the portal without a doubt. Andrew Armstrong, I've heard really good things. Otis Kirk talks highly of him. Hopefully his game translates. Who knows what that receiver room's going to look like next year. We still got a long ways to go, guys. We got a long ways to go. It's similar to the NFL offseason where you have deadlines, trade deadlines. You've got, when you can move around as a free agent and whatever, and guys getting picked up off waivers and what have you. It's similar, but then it's not because the portal, it's just wide open and you can basically move. I mean, we always go back to Mike Woods. We talk about that all the time because of the timing and his importance to the offense going into year 2 with Kendall Briles and what they were doing on offense. That was shocking. But the timeline, literally the last game, the last spring game, the following Sunday, we were hearing rumors he was going to Oklahoma, and then Monday he left for Oklahoma, right? We got a long ways to go. So who knows what this team even looks like. We know KJ's coming back. I feel pretty good about Rocket Sanders, of course. You never know. I mean, he is big time now. He is in that. I think next year you can throw him in that category of possible All-American running backs, right? So that kind of makes you wonder, is he thinking, well, wait a minute, if I'm big time here, what would I look like at Alabama? What would I look like at Ohio State? What would I look like at Clemson? One of these schools that are at least teams that can make it to the playoffs, right? That's something you need to consider. That's what I do. I try to prepare myself like, wait a minute, what if I were in his shoes? Now, obviously, you're going to face some stiff competition, right? Their depth is going to be full of 5 stars. You're not guaranteed. The grass is not always greener. It's not. Otis and Dudley and I have talked about that so much here, over on Hogville YouTube, that, we've talked about it till we're blue in the face. The grass is not always greener. And Rocket should not go, especially if Kendall's coming back, and who knows what the offensive line is going to look like, but yeah, I think he's going to do just fine here. He achieved the greatness. He achieved greatness at Arkansas. And I think he's a draft pick next year. Absolutely, I think he's a draft pick. Really should have been, I think, the SEC's leading rusher. We can't go on about that Mizzou game and the limited amount of carries he had. What was it, 10 carries? What the hell are we doing? Something to think about. I'm just saying, you never know. You just never know what's going through a player's mind. And you don't know what the people around him are saying. You never know what the parents, not the parents, but the family back home, you never know what they're telling him over the phone, text messaging, FaceTime. You don't know what those conversations look like. Who's talking to the family? I'm not by any stretch of the imagination accusing Rocket of that being the case with Rocket. I'm just saying in general, you just never know, right? But Rocket, I think, is a hog through and through. I don't think he's going anywhere, and he shouldn't, because he has been superb at Arkansas. Another great running back at the University of Arkansas. It's almost like that RBU tag or being known as RBU is kind of coming back to the university. Like, look at the backup. Look at the freshman did. Look what that kid's going to be a future baller if he sticks it out at Arkansas. All right, let's go to this defensive coordinator talk. See, we're kind of bouncing all around because there's so much stuff to talk about. We could go through so much of this so fast, and yet at the same time not even be halfway through. I want to talk about this because we already touched on Barry Odom, and the guy underachieved. First off, it should be a sign. It felt to me like that guy was looking for the first cab out of town. I don't know if that was by choice or if that was maybe Sam Pittman said, "Here's the writing on the wall, sir." Reminded me a lot of Jim Chaney under Brett Bielema. I don't know if you guys remember that. They were handing out extensions left and right. Chaney got left out. Now, that didn't happen this year. I don't think anybody's getting any extensions this year. Should there be one or two maybe possible assistants or position coaches maybe? Possibly. I'm looking at the defensive line. Thought they were much improved compared to a year ago. I would love to have seen what that defensive line could do with a steady 4-man front, but we played a lot of 3-man this year. But, whatever. But Is that kind of how this played out? Sam Pittman said, look, listen, year 3, man, this is what I'm going to tell you, my good pal, Mr. Odom, sir, defensive coordinator for the last 3 years. We're not trending in the right direction. You struggle to sign high-profile players on the defensive side of the ball outside of Drew Sanders and maybe you could argue Jordan Dominic. Dwight McLaughlin and Brenny were solid additions, absolutely. But in terms of high school recruiting and the thing that I've threatened to fire people over, and I have fired people over after just a single year, again, looking at the defensive line, linebacker, right? You had guy year 1, and then you had Michael Schur for the next 2 years. You're struggling recruiting in the high school ranks, not seeing a ton of development. What happened in the secondary has to be a reflection of the defensive coordinator. And by the way, you coach the safeties. Why are we in this situation? Injuries happen. It's hard to replace Slusher and Catalon and Brooks and Fouché. Completely understandable. The secondary took a huge hit. Why were we not able to recoup some of that in the portal? And again, you could argue McLaughlin was a solid addition. I agree with that. But we kept Hudson at corner far too long. Far too damn long. I believe. I don't know if Sam Pittman has talked about this or not. I don't remember. I believe that was his call. Not the DBs, not the corner safeties, not anyone else, no other coach. I think that was Odom's call. I'm gonna keep him over there. I'm gonna keep Hudson over there at corner. And if that's on him, that was a big problem, especially after you move Quincy McAdoo over to corner. I don't care how that happened. Regardless, a freshman, true freshman who had only practiced at wide receiver through fall camp and week-to-week practice, comes over there and he's amazing. Why did it take so long for and now maybe that's a reflection of Sam. I don't know. But why did we wait so long to move Hudson over to middle safety when clearly everybody – I don't care if you're blind, man. My 79-year-old aunt that lives out in Huntsville, Arkansas could tell you, I think Hudson ought to move to middle safety. Why did it take so long? So maybe that was some of the discussions that went down. At least that's what I think in my head. Yeah, we just waited too long. Coach O? We waited too long. Well, there's only one Coach O. And he's at a strip club down in Galveston as we speak, as a matter of fact. Barry, there's the writing on the wall, sir. Take the first job out of town. And that's why he interviewed for Tulsa. That's why he interviewed for UNLV. Honestly, do you see him doing that last year? No. The Texas defensive coordinator job is better than UNLV. Say what you want about UT. Say what you want about what's going on over there, although I think they're trending in a decent direction. Say about what you want. I guess UNLV takes football pretty serious over there. Okay, sure, but he's not taking that job a year ago, 2 years ago, last year. He's not taking that job. This year he does. Explain that to me. Oh, I know. I think Sam told him, listen, we got to make a change. Instead of me firing you, there's the exit. It's up to you. If you don't take it, I may have to terminate you. That's just speculation on my end. I have no idea if that's happened. Nobody has told me that. No one in the media, no one at Hogville, nothing like that. That's just me. Maybe that's what I'm thinking. In my brain, that's what I'm thinking how that went down. So now it's like, what do you do? Can you get Jim Leonard out of Wisconsin? By the way, I'm probably going to mention a name or two they've already moved on. I really don't know. Where's Jim Leonard? Do we know where Jim Leonard is? Do we have eyeballs on him? Ryan Walters at Illinois. What's going on with him? Has he been hired along somewhere? I've seen Derek Mason's name mentioned, the Oklahoma State defensive coordinator. I heard he makes $1.1 million a year. That is so hard for me to believe. Another name that had been mentioned was Charlie Strong, Arkansas native. What's he up to? He's at Miami, I think, doing something with Miami. Troy Scott, another Arkansas native out of Crossett, Arkansas. Did he pass on Arkansas? Is that what's going on? Are they getting passed up? What the hell is going on with the DC spot? Will Muschamp was another one. That's got to be a joke, right? There's all kinds of names. I really wondered about Troy Scott. I'm not going to lie to you. I kind of wanted Troy Scott. He's been at Georgia since 2017. He's been a part of that coaching staff. He's familiar with Sam Pittman. He's from Arkansas, which is just a coincidence, but whatever. It's still cool to see Arkansas natives kill it, and how fun would that be to have him as a DC? But you talk about recruiting. Okay, yeah, it's Georgia. They recruit 5 stars. Okay, what of it? So does A&M, right? So does Florida State. So does Miami. So does Florida. I mean, look what this cat has done. Look at the system that he's coached under. I think he'd be the first guy on my list, if I'm being honest. He's young. He can recruit the very pipeline that Sam Pittman has tried to set up, which is in South Georgia. There's your pipeline. This cat recruits Georgia. Or he's been in that area. He's known in that region. You're going to tell me he couldn't go to that part of the country and kill it? I think there'd be a question of, like, staffing. How would he look like? You know, that'd be the first time in his career where he's responsible for staffing, you know, linebacker coach. What's going on at defense? Do you keep – I don't see Michael Schur sticking around. I have a hard time seeing that, at least if you were to hire in someone else outside. I think he'd probably follow Barry Odom if he hasn't already, by the way. Don't know if he has. But that would be the next – to me, that'd be the common sense thing, right? But I like him a lot. I do. I want to give him a shot. If not, maybe you could go after someone, because it's almost like you go after someone like a Charlie Strong. You go after someone like a Derek Mason, and you think, well, okay, but they weren't so hot. I think Oklahoma State's defense last year was putrid. But then the year before that, it was really damn good. But would it be worse than what you had? Like, at this point, you're almost like, is it worse than what we had? It was bad. It was real bad. I have some numbers here. If you want to hear these really fast, if this would pull up. I don't know why it's not. Where did they go? Well, I had numbers. Where'd they go? Where's my numbers? Shit. I can't find my numbers. Where are my numbers? Well, red zone defense was, I think, 116th in the country. Teams were scoring all the time in your red zone. Your total defense was like 123rd in the country. It was, I mean, guys, it was atrocious. Here we go. I found it. Total defense, 454 yards per game, 123rd in the country. Third down defense, 116th in the country. Teams were converting something like, I think it was 46% of the time on third down. Red zone defense was 84th. You had an 85% chance of scoring on Arkansas in the red zone, and believe me, touchdowns were scored. It wasn't just field goals. Scoring defense, 90th, 28 points per game. In this day and age, it almost feels like 28 points isn't really atrocious, but it's not good. 90th isn't good. These aren't good numbers. And it's almost like anybody on this list feels like an upgrade. Anybody on this list, whether we're talking about the Georgia Tech cat, the former Baylor defensive coordinator who was fired, you look at his numbers, they weren't really much worse than Arkansas's. Actually, they were quite a bit better. I don't know, man. It just feels like anybody on anyone's list would be an upgrade. I don't know about Gary Patterson. Yeah, to me, Troy Scott. Troy Scott would be my first pick. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I think a high school defense coordinator would be good at this point. I thought Odom was a joke since Mizzou made him a head coach. I don't know about all that. Odom didn't develop linebacker depth. We had no choice, it seems, but to play pull through injuries to where it may have ended his pro choice chances. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel like linebacker actually was better off than we realized. I don't fully disagree with that, Mark. I hear what you're saying, but my God, Christopher Pupal was an All-American. He's a freshman All-American. I'm going to tell you, Jordan Crook, watching him in camp, watching him in fall camp, impressed. He impressed. He made plays on Malik Hornsby. Talk about Malik all you want, but that guy ran Malik Hornsby down in the backfield, forced him out of bounds, did it twice. Jordan Crook might be someone to keep an eye on. I kind of think the depth at linebacker was better than we realized this year. That's kind of where I'm at with it. Now, without Bumper Pool and without Drew Sanders in the bowl game, wow, I don't know about all that. That's a pretty big blow. I think Drew Sanders not playing is the equivalent on defense of not having Treylon Burks on offense last year against Penn State. I really do. And it might even be worse because there's still questions about this defense. Your defensive coordinator has moved on. You've lost someone. Actually, again, you're without Poole. You're without two big-time pieces of your defense. Thank God Jordan Dominic's coming back. I'm going to say that. You need all of those 7 sacks back next year. I heard there might be co-defensive coordinators. Yeah. Listen, it could be a slam dunk hire. I mean, Sam seems to be just taking his time. Maybe they're waiting for some bowl games to get over with. I'm not panicking about the defensive coordinator thing yet. Now, the closer we get to Christmas, I'm going to be a little like, oh, crap. Okay, all right, I'm getting a little nervous. And then and I think he'll make a move before then, but he may not. But after January 1st, after the 1st of January, and you kind of move on, and it's like, wait a minute, we don't have a DC. I don't see it taking that long. But anything could happen. Nobody wants us, says Hog Barbecue. God, that's depressing. Hey, welcome to everybody who's in here. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Do me a solid. Like, share, subscribe if you're new here. Again, shout out to Apex Tattoo Studio located in Rogers. And, of course, Direct Service Overhead, the garage door company. I want Sam and Hunter Yurchek to take the time and do it right, says Mr. Collins. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. Now, you have to question, when is early signing period? December 21st? There is some of that. There's maybe some urgency when you're talking about that. But who knows? Maybe these kids are, they're sold on Sam. And here's something too. I want you guys to tell me yes, no on this. All right? Am I crazy? Am I crazy in thinking this? If you have exhausted all resources, okay, if you've been passed on by all these names that have been thrown out over the last several days, you know who they are, and they've all passed on you. Hell, one of them did pass on you, and he went to Auburn. Is promoting Michael Schur to defensive coordinator, is that a yes or a no? I'm talking about you've gone after everyone that you could, you've exhausted all resources. Sam has been on the phone nonstop. Hunter Yurchek's backing him up. Would you be fine with that? And here's why. Now, again, you could say he inherited these things, but still, he was the coach, and you got to give him credit. The job that was done in the portal, the job he's done recruiting, the linebackers this year are legit. I'm telling you, these linebackers, I'm liking them. Two All-Americans, right? 2 All-Americans, Drew Sanders, and wasn't Morgan an All-American last year, or was he not? I know he's all-conference. But looking at the job that they've done at linebacker the last 2 years since he's been the guy, the production on the field, the fact that the guy knows the personnel, the fact that the guy knows how to coach under Sam Pittman, the fact that he's lived in Fayetteville now for 3 years and became a bigger part of the defense the last couple of years, he's trending upwards. Yes or no? Listen. If no, I want you to tell me why. If yes, if you want, you can tell me why. Or maybe you just agree with what I've said. I get the age thing. I get it. But someone remind me, how old was McVay when he won a Super Bowl with the LA Rams? I'm starting to think we need to, maybe the age thing is it's overrated. Do you want someone in their 40s who's been around a little while, who's been on the recruiting trails, who's set up pipelines? Yes. People who have had years of experience and certain, learning under certain gurus and what have you, like what's been the standard for decades for football? Sure. And then sometimes there's just cats who get it, who they just work. And maybe that's Michael Schur. Again, I'm not saying he's my first, second, third, or even fourth option. I'm saying if you're at wit's end, if you're Sam Pittman, I'm not talking about you as a fan. Maybe I should have said that in the beginning. If you're Sam Pittman, do you hire or upgrade Michael Schur from linebacker coach to defensive coordinator? Again, he knows personnel. He knows these players. Linebackers have been studly. He had 2 All-Americans when you consider Drew Sanders and Pooh Paul, who was a freshman All-American. Drew Sanders was a first-team All-American. You could say, well, he inherited him. Yeah, well, he was also a part of the process of bringing him to Arkansas, along with Barry Odom and Sam. Actually, I think that was Schur and Barry Odom. I don't know how much Sam played a role in that or not. I mean, I know he either vetoed it or said, okay, yes or no. But I'm saying at the end of the day, I think, when he reached out, that's the people he was mostly talking to was Barry Odom and Drew Sanders, or Michael Schur. I would say yes. Mike says yes. Marco Leone says no. I'd love an answer, Marco Leone. I don't know about his experience. Maybe bring him in. Maybe bring in someone with experience and let him be linebacker coach. So, Will, I think the next guy is going to replace Michael Schur. I don't think the next guy is just going to come in and be like, no, we're going to keep Michael. I usually what happens is they bring their own guys. So I'm not. I think some of you are saying no because you think Michael Schur is still going to be here. There's no guarantee that happens. Now maybe Sam says, listen, I'll hire you, but we got to keep Michael Schur. Younger dudes seem to be better recruiters. I think that's probably, yeah. You better before Hog Barbecue says you better do it before he goes with Odom. I would love to promote from inside. Hell, the linebacker has been the best core on the defense across the last 3 years. Give him a damn shot. I agree. Apparently, the new strength and conditioning coach, Bowers, the players love him. Okay. Yeah, we're getting fake news. I don't know about that stuff. I've not heard any confirmation that anything has happened, so let's not spread bullshit in chat yet, unless it's real. I say yes. I say yes. Do it. If you've exhausted all resources, do it. Why not? You're again, like someone said in chat, your linebackers have been in terms of productivity, in terms of production on the field, it's been the linebackers. Now, he hasn't been the linebacker coach all 3 years. He's only been the linebacker coach for the last 2 years. Look at what Joe Brady did at LSU last year as an OC. He's young. Yeah. These cats are getting younger and younger. And I agree. I think they are better on the recruiting trail. Singletary hasn't been the worst thing in the NFL. We could hit the lottery with this. Haas says, here's my thing. A younger guy may have new ideas. These old heads are set in their ways. God, that's some truth there. We watched Chavis. Oh, he just dropped a Chavis bomb in chat. We watched Chavis coach too long. Maybe we've seen Odom coach too long. That's a pretty good take, actually, out of Mr. Haas. 20-something with caps, all caps, no experience as a DC for an SEC team that can pay $1+ million. Yeah, again, Marco, he's not my first option. And by the way, he probably, I don't know what his salary would be. I don't know that he'd get $1 million. They might just up him a little bit. They might give him a contract similar to what they did with Sam. Not the same money, but you got to prove it, right? You got to earn it. You give him a short leash, you give him a couple of years, see what he does. At this point, I really don't know what it would hurt if you've exhausted all resources. I get the age thing, but I'm telling you, I think these young cats are getting it done, man. They're hungry. Could they be looking at coaches in the playoffs? Why it's taking so long? Yeah, I think that's absolutely could. Yeah, I agree. Let's get an NFL guy since college is kind of turning into pro situation, something similar and a must hire. Don't know that there's many defensive personnel in the NFL that want to come coach. That want to come coach at Arkansas. I'm not there yet. I don't think Arkansas is there yet. Now, if we're talking about Alabama, if you're talking about Georgia, Ohio State, I don't know. Maybe you can go grab an underling, one of these cats. He has to start somewhere. What better place than the SEC school he's already established at? If it works, we look like geniuses. Arkansas looks smart in upgrading Michael Schur. Let's move on to, really quick, what is going on with Mr. Loggains, the tight end coach? Highway to the danger zone. That's what I think of when I hear Loggins. I feel like Pittman has got 2 more years to get it going. Maybe not. Yeah, well, we'll see. I think he's guaranteed 5 unless he falls flat on his face next year. I'll say that. I think if Sam falls flat on his face next year, I mean, it's got to be abysmal. It's got to be 4-8, 3-9, and then we're having a different conversation. But I don't know that I see that happening with what they have coming back in KJ and Rocket. I don't know what's going on at running back behind Rocket. If Sam wins less than 6 next year, he's gone. I don't know. I just don't know. I mean, he's. I feel like year 2 kind of bought him 5 years. 4-8. Yeah, 4-8. I don't know, 5-7. But you know what they do? This is what they do. There's always this certain kind of rationale that they use. And I'm talking about Hunter Yurchek. I'm talking about not just Hunter, ADs across the country. Well, we were so close. We had 5 wins. 2 plays, and guys, we win 6 games. We're going bowling. That's always what fans do it. If you don't think the administration, if you don't think the athletic department doesn't do the same thing, come on. We all do it. I do it. You do it. We all do it. We find a way to make it work in our heads, to spin it in a positive direction as much as, or in a negative direction, right? I try not to do that here, but you know. And then sometimes you do have to look. You have to look at what happens week to week, and you do need to take that into consideration, how the season unfolds, the body of work behind, and what Sam Pittman has done. Year 2, it feels like bought him 5 years. 5-7, and he stays? Question mark, question mark. Well, Marco's just coming in today like, yeah, I think he probably does at 5-7. Yeah. Yeah, I do. I think he does. You know why? Because technically, all 3 years he's been here, he's gotten Arkansas to a bowl game. Even though year 1, I don't feel like they deserved it. They should have played in a bowl game against TCU. Year 2, he wins 9. This year, they win 6. Yeah, I think next year if he goes 5-7, he probably keeps his job. Sure. Do I agree that he should at that point? I don't know. We'll have to talk about it if that happens. On the flip side of that, I don't think that happens. I like what they have coming back on offense. We'll see what happens with the defense. Anyways, getting back to Loggins here really quick. What is going on? There's been rumors and speculation that he is going to take the OC job at South Carolina. I've kind of thought that Loggins would end up as the next OC. I really think that's what they were trying to do. Again, not saying I agree with it, not saying that it was the right thing to do, but I feel like that was in the works for him. And it doesn't appear at the moment that Kendall's going anywhere. You know, he did interview, who was it? Was it Louisville last year? So it's not to say that this is anything new, that there's been speculation that he could leave. I think this is the second time in the offseason, 2 separate moments here, that he was rumored to go to move on to South Carolina to go coach their offense. Former NFL, I think he coached at 3 different places, right? The Jets, I think the Bears in Miami, where he's an OC. Some people were a lot of people, I would argue, were probably against the idea. I don't know that I was. It kind of goes back to that defensive coordinator situation where it's like, okay, you've reached out. If Kendall were to leave and you've reached out to all these names and all these individuals and they've turned you down, well, here's Loggains, right? I don't know if maybe that's not the way it was going to go. Maybe the expectation was, well, Kendall's gone after this year. Someone's going to come along and take him. And Loggains is just the next guy up. Maybe that's what Sam was thinking. It doesn't, at the moment, anything could change. If we've learned anything about college football in the recent, I mean, it's kind of always been wild, but especially the last 5 to 10 years, you just don't know. And I can sit here and tell you right now, well, Kendall's not going anywhere, and then by the time I'm done going live, breaking news, Kendall Briles takes job at wherever. You know, it's just kind of how it's – and that has actually happened on this show. We're talking about something, and then we have breaking news. You just never know. I don't know. But I don't feel like this off. I feel like we've still got a long ways to go. We still got portal stuff going on, right? I've heard Briles to Alabama as an OC. Yeah, I don't think so. No way. I mean, what could he do with better talent? But I'll tell you, what he's done here is not, again, it's not lived up to any type of the hype. What do we know about Devo when he left? I have no idea. Mike says grandmother passed. I hadn't heard that, but I feel bad for liking the potential that KB system shows. Why do you feel bad? We had the potential to score lots of points this year, and we found a way not to score them. Patrick Wendell says Loggains is accepting the South Carolina OC job. Now, is that just now? Is that breaking? Let me guess. I'm sitting here talking about it, and it's breaking news. Is that what's happening here? I'm not seeing anything yet. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything yet. But it sounds like it could be. It sounds very possible that he's gonna take the South Carolina job. It sounds like it's legitimately on the table. Hey, make sure you guys like the show. I do appreciate you. If you're new here, slap the subscribe button. Give it a Ridgeway suplex. Check Discord. Oh, do we have someone on Discord? Okay. What do you have for me on Discord? What do we got? You didn't tag me, so I don't know what I'm looking at. Ron Roberts. Yeah, we know about that. Going to Auburn. Oh, there it is. Okay, Brandon Marcello. Brandon Marcello says Arkansas tight end coach Dowell Loggins. I always say Dowell Loggins intends to accept the offensive coordinator position at South Carolina. Source tells 247 Sports. Wow. What does that mean for the tight end room? What does that mean for your recruits? You've got 3 4-star tight ends. Ooh. I don't know. I have a hard time seeing them hang on to all 3. But you never know. That's going to be an interesting thing to keep an eye on. Again, early signing period. If these cats don't sign, I think it's December 21st. Going to want to keep an eye on them because history tells us if they don't sign an early signing period, there's a shot they do not sign come February. Shamari Easter, who's a 4-star. Luke Haas. There's another one. Isn't there 3? Luke Haas, Shamar Easter, Jaden Ham, who is a 4-star according to 247 Sports. His composite is a 3-star. I think Otis Kirk said several months ago if there was a decommit, he thought it might be Jaden Ham. I don't know if he's changed his mind on that. If there's been no movement, I'm gonna have either Dudley Dawson or Otis Kirk on Hogville on Thursday. So we'll get caught up on that. If there's not been any movement, if Loggains takes the job and they haven't had any decommits, or if they have, regardless, we'll talk about it. We'll bring it up. But that's something worth keeping an eye on. I mean, it really is. That's interesting. Yeah, Dowell Loggins is the lead recruiter on all three of those tight ends. It is hard for me to see them keeping all three. Now, Luke Haas, who I'm sure Sam Pittman's been involved with all of them. Of course he is. But Luke Haas, who's from Bixby, Oklahoma, I've kind of heard that he's all about Arkansas. So I don't know. But you just don't know, man. You're not in the minds of these 17, 18-year-old kids. Shamar Easter, from what I understand, again, this was talking to someone a month ago. He is 100% Hog. Really likes Sam and the staff on the offensive side of the ball. But, again, you just don't know until there's movement, Doug Johnson was timed out. Oh, no. What did Doug Johnson do? Oh, no. Oh, no. Well, you jinxed it. What did I jinx? Will Haas decommitted? He did? No, he didn't. Well, if I jinxed it, it's not me jinxing it. It's me saying I think there's a possibility somebody decommits. I just wouldn't have seen it being Haas. Oh, will Haas decommit? Okay. I don't know. Ham, I think, is the only one to leave us. There's DJ Williams. Did you see him on Twitter? Did you see him on Twitter tagging Sam Pittman? Hey, about that tight end job. Yeah, Haas loves. That's all I've ever heard. Is Haas really likes Arkansas. Him and the other one I just said his name. Shamar Easter. All right, make sure you guys hit the like button. Come on now, give it a Ridgeway suplex. Give it a Ridgeway suplex. You said when we talk about stuff, it happens while on live. That's exactly what happened 2 minutes later. Which part? Well, I mean, he hasn't officially. That's been rumored now for like 3-4 days. He's taking the SC job. It's not official yet. It's not official. But it probably will be. It will be. Haas is close to home as well. Yeah. Cowboy Slow says, I mean, he played the position. Yeah, but it's not always just the qualification, though. Listen, you never know, man. Maybe DJ can come in and be the dude at tight end. Doug a clown. Oh, no. What did Doug do? What did Dougie do? Haas posted a pic of him and Saban having an in-home visit right after Sam visited him. Yeah, Alabama, last I had heard, was all over him, or they had upped their recruiting on him. We'll see how that goes. All right, that is going to do it. I'm going to eat me some lunch. I'm going to eat a late lunch. I've got a frozen dinner with my name on it. Really do appreciate you guys for being here. Again, Thoughts and Prayers with Mike Leach. We're going to monitor that and try to keep you up to date. I say we, hell, Twitter will do its thing. Dre Greenlaw. Oh, my God. I can't believe I forgot about that. Dre Greenlaw asking Brady to sign the ball. That was epic. That made its rounds on social media yesterday. That was great, man. Did you see what he did? He led both teams in tackles. He had 15 tackles with that interception. He had a fumble recovery for a touchdown last week, right? Or was that the week before last? He's killing it, man. Dre Greenlaw is killing it with the Niners. I hate saying that. Did you guys watch the Rams on Thursday Night Football? Was that insane? Baker madness. Mayfield madness. That's what we'll call it. That was insane. 94-yard drive, I think. Oh, it was beautiful, man. We were on the boat watching it. That was crazy. What a game, man. Welcome back, Ty, and great show. I appreciate that, Ramon Shiesty. I appreciate you. Again, shout out to Patreon supporters, to Direct Service Overhead, Apex Tattoo Studio, located in Rogers. Appreciate all of you. These shows are not possible without you. Baker Mayfield. Oh, that was insane. That was crazy. Who had that on their bingo list? Baker Mayfield. That was insane. The catch was great, too. That was a great game. It was boring up until the final minutes of the fourth quarter. God, that was wonderful. I had my Ram hat on. But someone who went with us on the cruise was he's a big Vegas guy, or a big Raider fan. He actually didn't finish the game. He got up and left. He thought it was over. Raiders were up, 16-3. He was like, oh, this is over. I'm going to go to bed. He wakes up Friday morning, and he's like, what the hell? Oh, it was glorious. Oh, I loved it. All right. I will see you guys later on in the week. And, stay tuned. We'll keep you up to date with what's going on. Next time we talk, I'm sure we'll bring up Beard. We'll talk about Mike Leach. And we'll talk about this situation, I'm hoping, on Thursday on Hogville with either Otis Kirk or Dudley Dawson about what's going on in the portal, get you caught up on recruiting, and get this whole Loggains situation figured out. It sounds like he's headed to South Carolina, so we'll see what happens. All right, woo pig, and I'll see you guys later on in the week. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Go Hogs.